A little
We're
while.
professionals here. Hi.
I started
Welcome to
recording
Nerd is the
now,
Word.
so we should start over.
Okay, I thought we were recording.
But I lied. Now we did it.
Oh, it's something that...
Remind me.
Hey, welcome to Nerd is the Word.
Yeah.
My name's Jackson DiCarlo.
My name's Ben Anderson. And
Thanks for chipping in, Ben.
We have another guest with us today.
You want to introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey guys, I'm Jay Gleason.
Hey, that's Jay. He's our buddy from college that we go to.
Yeah.
As you know, we are coming at you live from Fredonia's campus on FredoniaRadio.com, 89 dot, right?
Yes.
.5 WDVL.
They'll yell at you if you say point. Don't say point.
Because point is radio, dot is online.
That is online.
So you're listening to Nerd is the Word. It's a talk show from two nerds who talk about nerd stuff, games, movies, more, whatever. Favorites, recommendations, whatever. We usually start the show with an introduction of sorts to get you more familiarized with us in case you don't know us or you're not my mother.
Oh, yeah, that's also it.
So we'll do our favorite Easter tradition, seeing as it was just our break for Easter. If you like, if just what you'd like to do over the break that is designated for that. So my favorite of the household is the Peep War. Have you ever done the Peep War?
What's the Peep War?
You get a bunch of peeps, you put them on a plate, and give them toothpicks.
Yeah.
They stick them in like where their arms would be, and then you nuke them in the microwave.
What?
And they inflate and like stab each other and pop. It's really funny.
This sounds like you guys are brutally murdering peeps.
Well,
It's
it's my mom's idea, so.
I mean, masochists. The DiCarlo family.
You got one, Ben?
I really enjoy just eating dinner. It's a good
Dinner's
time.
classic, dude.
Well, we don't. I mean, when I was really younger, they used to hide my Easter basket in the morning.
They
And I would
still
have-
do mine, and I woke up at like 1 and like started grumbling around the house looking for it. I was like, so
See,
closet.
My
pantry,
favorite
laundry
location
room.
was I gave up. I was 4 years old and I gave up looking, and I'm like, I can't find this. Where is this? They're like, well, we know where it is, but we're not gonna tell you. And it was like, this was like 5 hours later because I just don't care anymore. So they're like, I guess he gave up. So they went into the dryer. They pulled it out of the dryer.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, why did
We
you
didn't want
put
the
it in
dryers.
there?
They had that
My
once.
mom's done that before.
What about you, Jay? You got one?
I also really liked to search for my basket in the morning, and my mom would always like hide the little plastic eggs too, so that was
Yeah.
fun. But I remember the craziest time was, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. We were still searching for our baskets, and I just, for the life of me, could not find my basket.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else had found theirs at this point, and I'm sitting at my dining room table, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm not gonna find this basket. And I look out the window, and I see it's up in a tree. I'm like, oh my god. So I run out there and I bring it down and I look at it and I see my bunny looked like he just survived a nuclear explosion.
Oh.
It was insane.
The worst was finding someone else's basket and be like, yeah,
Like how would you?
I know where your basket is.
yeah, it's like the blackmail. Like, tell me, and like, no.
No.
Yeah.
A bit of housekeeping before we get into the main topic of tonight.
Oh, yes.
So, Hellboy. We did not see it through a mix of busyness, laziness, and just forgetting. So, pick your favorite of those excuses, and that's why.
Not to mention, I mean, I don't know. We have other things to do.
Yeah. I'll give you a bit of the TLDR of Hellboy from the what's been going on the internet.
Apparently, it's just meh.
Yeah,
It's either meh or
very,
it's very bad.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 14,
Which is
Wow.
Metacritic 31, and IMDb 5.4.
See, I don't know if it's that bad, but I heard it's poor management.
Yeah, so we'll probably still check it out at some point, but we haven't seen it yet.
We'll at least check out the first two sometime.
The other one is Endgame,
Yes.
which is Thursday night for us. So I will be going for sure because I bought my ticket.
Yeah.
Ben has not bought his ticket.
It's not going to be full.
He is banking on it.
I'm not banking on it.
Well,
I'm
he
just
likes to
telling
live
you.
life dangerously, dude. So
I've always lived my life. Remember when I didn't pre-order Super Smash Brothers and I just went in the night of and they're like,
yeah, dude.
"Oh, just buy it now." And I'm like,
there
"Yeah,
were 50 people in that store. Remember?
I know." And I still got one now, didn't I? They're like,
Well-
"No, we had plenty." And I'm like, "Yeah, you would."
Just like to be prepared.
I know.
Okay, I think it's enough. Well, segue time. Segue. Okay, welcome back. we just did our segue.
Okay.
We're here tonight talking about the game of games for nerds, and that's Dungeons and Dragons. And I have heard about this game on and off for years. Between like when I started watching The Big Bang Theory in middle school, like they had so many episodes talking about that, and tons of shows parody it, like Regular Show and countless others. But it's like a staple of nerdhood.
Mm-hmm.
I never really got around to playing it until this year. I've had a few on and off DMs that were like, yeah, I'll DM, and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And we played like one session and fell out of it instantly. So I was like, it seems neat, but never got into it. And then this year we finally got a group together that played, and we've put a ton of time into that.
Yes.
So my experience is limited. Ben, do you have any experience you want to pale in comparison?
I have friends who like to do it, and then I was just like, you can do it. I don't know. It was kind of a matter of, like, anytime I tried to join, I have no clue what I'm doing, and no one would, like, push me into the sense of, like...
It was, like, just waiting in water.
And I'm just like, man, I don't like asking for help, so, like, please, someone come over here.
Can I shoot him? No.
Oh.
Can I hit him?
It's
spell. You're out. Oh.
Yeah, I was just like,
how
what am I doing?
my race?
Like,
I don't know,
at least you like didn't you set up characters like in some of your runs? And
kind of like it never worked out.
Like I never got beyond a character, let's say, and I'm just like whatever.
So both of us have nothing, and then there's Jay.
Yeah, Jay,
you want to take the mic and explain your experience?
Yes.
How you got into it? How long you've been playing?
Well, I've actually been playing for 5 years, almost 6 coming up. Once we hit summer vacay, it'll be 6 years playing D&D. And for those of you that didn't understand what Jackson was saying when he said DM,
yeah,
that stands for Dungeon Master, who's the guy who runs the game.
It's basically the game god. Keeps everything moving, determines what the enemies do and stuff.
So yeah, for those of you back home listening to this fine program, D&D is a game that you play with buddies. You need about like 4 or more friends, and you all sit around a table with paper and pencils and dice and snacks, and there are no screens needed for this game. Like, it's all
or
just your
boards.
imagination. Yeah, you could like have a game board, but all stuff that you can draw and mostly like
Would
that.
you like the Wizards of the Coast description of the game?
I'd love to hear it.
The first Dungeons and Dragons game was played back when Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson
Yeah.
chose to personalize the massive battles of their fantasy war games with exploits of individual heroes. This inspiration became the first fantasy role-playing game in which players are characters on an ongoing fantasy story. This new kind of game has become immensely popular over the years, and D&D has grown to include many new ways to vividly experience worlds as heroic fantasy. The core of D&D is storytelling. You and your friends tell a story together, guiding your heroes through quests for treasure, battles with deadly foes, daring rescues, courtly intrigue, and much more. You can also explore the world of Dungeons & Dragons through many of the novels written by its fantasy authors, as well as engaging board games and immersive video games. All of these stories are part of D&D. That's what it says on the website.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
pretty close.
That's a pretty close one.
Well, yeah, it is based in, like, imagination, storytelling, and kind of just...
I think I have
Yeah,
a
right.
better definition
better
from
one?
Urban
Dictionary. D&D. It stands for Do Not Disturb.
That's pretty accurate. You definitely don't want your parents coming in on you guys playing D&D.
It's really awkward because, like, we play in the rec room when we play, and, like, we'll be in the... So the ogre swings down with you, and then, like, our ranger will be like, oh, no, and, like, we're, like, getting really into it, and some guy just, like, slowly opens the door and looks at us and just, like, kind of saunters in.
We all just go silent and
puts his
look at him.
popcorn in the microwave and just stands there for 2.5 minutes, and we're just like, I will use guiding bolt on the ogre.
It turns into like a golf announcer.
Yeah, he's readying the swing. He's approaching the ogre and
roll the die. Roll
I
for
got
your
a
attack.
16 to hit.
That succeeds.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Roll your damage.
D12 plus 5. Okay. 16 damage, please.
And he made it in the hole.
Welcome to Nerd is the Word, the new ASMR channel.
Oh no.
But yeah, it's what scared me from playing it was it seemed very complex, and like getting into it, it seemed like it wasn't like a thing you could just pick up and play, but with like someone who actually understands the game fully and can like guide new guys into it, it's pretty easy to pick up once you get the setup done.
Well, I feel like it also made it easier the way Jay handled how we got in. We didn't have to worry about stats. He just kind of...
Oh, yeah, you made the characters
He just
for
made
us.
our characters, but not like in... Like, he just set up
raw
all the stats.
Yeah, we
and
got
then,
to make the personalities
and we made
backstories
personality
of all
and
of them, which is
backstory.
nice. We want to talk about our characters for a bit?
Sure.
I play a halfling bard. A halfling is kind of like a hobbit and just a human, except, hobbits have like these very defined feet and hair all over them, but like halflings are just kind of like very short humans, right? And a bard is like the musical mage of sorts. Like he uses instruments and singing to do all of his magic. So you like strike like a chord on a lute, and then your allies will have inspiration to fight harder or something. So I play a very short human with a banjo, basically. He's also Australian, and his name is Mick Dundee. McDundee Reiki. It's pretty great.
Are you gonna...
His middle initial is C.
Okay.
Stands for Christopher. It's pretty great.
Does it now?
Yeah.
That's not what I heard, but we can't say it on the show. It would be a little mean.
Tell me about your character, buddy.
Wait. Would you care to grace us with your best
No.
McDundee impression?
I don't want to do it right now.
No, they're so good.
I got really into it. I looked up all these like phrases in Australian to say.
We had like 6 sheets.
I have a whole sheet printed out with like dag means funny man, or bonzer means good, or struth is an explanation, or we're not here to screw spiders. Like that means like let's get moving or something.
What do they call a campfire?
A bush telly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a lot of research on this, like more so on this than I did for my recent bio project, which was interesting.
I don't know how I feel about that. Your mother's listening. Don't let her know.
Oh,
It's
no.
not like she doesn't know. Like, she's come to expect this from me at this point.
Yeah, we get into the game. So
Yeah.
what about you, Ben?
All right. So, my character, he's just a plain human, but he's a part of the fighter cast. And he
Tell him what a fighter does.
now a fighter is obviously the main frontline man, one of the main
Like
frontline
a warrior of
characters.
sorts.
Yeah. My personal guys was just a member of the guard who's pretty young, but he looks a lot older, so people don't question it.
Yeah, we didn't find out you were 17 until like 5 sessions
Well,
in.
you guys still don't technically know in the game. You just know outside of the game.
Yeah.
You
We
guys
looked at your
never
sheet
asked.
like, wait, you're 17? And you're like, yeah.
They don't question it.
You guys never asked.
He's just a part of the
McDundee's
team.
like 23.
I'm just like, you guys never asked, so why would I tell?
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty quiet just because role-playing isn't something I'm into
Yeah.
entirely, but it's also...
I'm all over that, though.
Well, it's also because, like, I feel like I do way better in combat compared to others,
yeah,
so
so
I try and take a step back and
like half of the
roleplay.
game is the combat, which
Yeah.
the other half is like outside where you're interacting with the townsfolk or
Mhm.
people who are giving you quests or buying and selling things. Like, so half of your stats well, most of them are for combat, but one of them, charisma, is a fantasy stat apparently, but it's pretty great. That one, like, it determines how well you can interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
And every character I've played so far has had the highest stat of charisma because it's just so much fun to play with people in the town.
I mean,
He doesn't like making different
and haggle.
characters.
No, every character I've made is different. I've had rangers, I've had bards, I have a new one coming up in our next campaign that I'm not allowed to talk about. All of them
It's a secret.
have high charisma.
well, the main difference is that Jackson likes to talk. So
I
if he
love to
can't
talk.
talk well,
That's true.
That's just a part of Jackson
Yeah.
rather than it being.
Because I feel like if I had like a negative charisma score and I walked into like a tavern as like this like really dumb barbarian, I was like,
Homunculus.
give money to man.
I mean, to be fair, you are right now in a different campaign. You're a robot that speaks like
Oh
a
yeah,
speech to text.
I do text to speech as my voice.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
and you
really
have
funny.
you have a high like what is
yeah,
it?
communications.
Communication.
Is the
That's what the stat is.
I pretended I was part of Space OSHA to get into a pirate ship.
that was a good one.
It was really funny.
Yeah. trying to think. Are you guys done with that, or did you guys?
It's
not
kind
meet
of an
up after
ongoing
that?
workshop thing.
I was
but,
wondering how well that was going.
Jay, you want to talk about what like DMing entails, like what a dungeon master does? Because we talked about like player stuff, but like
Yeah, so there's the DM or the GM possibly.
which is game master. If you
game
think
master.
dungeon sounds too sexy,
Yeah, if they, if your players get too aroused by that. But they're the one that runs the game and they organize the sessions.
Mhm.
Except unless you have a player like Jackson who's like, let's play every single night.
you had it
but-
all written. It was just getting everyone together.
Yeah. But you stand at the end, or you sit at the end of the table. You've got the rest of your players around. Everyone's got their dice, their pens.
Tell
and
about the
paper.
big screen.
And the DM gets a big screen in front of their, in front of their things, like their books and their papers.
It's like those things in school that you get to cover your paper when you're taking a test, like those big
The manila
cardboard
folder.
things
Yeah.
that go up. Yeah,
Got to make sure your players aren't peeking on what you're looking at.
because you have like a lot of stuff to keep track of, right? Like what's
Yeah.
behind the books.
There are 3 core books. There's like a player's handbook, a monster manual, and a DM's guide.
Mhm.
So the player's handbook has all of the basic things like making a character and all like the weapons and armors and spells in there, and like a bunch of general goods and like the prices of everything. That's the player's handbook, and then there's the monster manual that has all the stats of the monsters. So when you're looking at that behind the screen, you really don't want your players to be peeking at what you're surprising them with. And then lastly, we have the DM's guide where if you're going to surprise your party with like a big stash of loot and you got your page flipped open to like a awesome magical item, you don't want them peeking over and seeing that. So,
I mean, because like you also when you roll dice, you obviously like fudge them sometimes
yes,
to help us
to
or
help
not
us
help
or not help us.
to,
yeah.
to help or hurt the party.
You kind
To-
of get to bend the world to your will, which is interesting.
Which
whatever it takes to make the experience of playing the game better.
yeah.
Which, if we could see it, like, it would be hard for you to be like, oh, I didn't roll that,
yeah.
and like good or bad for us.
So you have to set up the world, the stories, all the people involved in all of that, the monsters, the combat, designing the dungeons that we go in, the towns, and like there's a lot of stuff. It can't just be like, yeah, you go into New York and you talk to a guy, he gives you a gun.
Well, when I was younger and like new to the game, and I would DM, I had to write everything out because I was new to the game. I couldn't just fly by the seat of my pants. But now I've DM'd for so long that I'm able to just I am able to fly by the seat of my pants, and I can constantly improvise.
Yeah.
And whatever the players give me, I can work with and kind of mold and shape and send him in a completely different direction that I didn't initially have intended, but it fits the situation better. So I can just have him instead of this dungeon I was thinking about setting up. They actually end up going to a different city or something.
Yeah.
And then I can just role play the new city.
Do you prefer to dungeon master or play yourself?
I haven't DM'd for almost 6 years. I've just been playing the game for almost 6 years. I think half of it has been as a player character, and half of it has been as the DM. So I'd say that I really love DMing.
Yeah.
If the party is good.
Are we a good party?
Yeah.
Yay.
You guys are great.
Well, he wouldn't tell us on air.
We just leave the room. He's like, you guys suck.
I hate you guys. No, but if the players are all cool people and like they're nice and they're not rule Nazis, then it's fun and it's a great time. But at the same time, since I've been playing for so long and I've got a lot of friends in my circle, that there's a lot of people that want to play with me. So more often than not, I'll have 2 or 3 teams that I'm in. And I've tried DMing for several of them, but I found that when I DM for more than one, I will lose interest in both of them.
No.
I see.
So I actually only DM for your guys' group right now.
No.
And I am playing characters in 2 different groups right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, we never played with you as a player. And next semester, we're going to be starting up a new campaign.
Hunter the Muppet Man
yes,
will be dungeon mastering
for
us.
people who've known Hunter.
And we're going to be doing a different edition of the game. Like, there are several types of the game. Like, is it 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 5?
Yep.
So there are, like, 6 different versions then? Why is there
Yes.
3.5? Why didn't they just go to 4?
3.5 was kind of like an edited, polished up version of 3.
With a 6S iPhone.
Was it because 3 didn't work entirely the best?
3 was good, but there were things that they missed, so they just wanted to polish it up and fix it.
That's what I was
So the
assuming.
one we play with you is 3.5.
3.5.
How old is 3.5?
I think that was in the early 2000s it came out, or in the late 2000s. I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know 5e is late 2010s or early 2010s, I believe.
Because
3.5 was 2000. The
Yeah.
original one was in the 70s.
Yeah.
1974. Most recent edition was 2014.
Yep.
Now, have you heard plans for a 6e?
I have not. I'd assume that if they were thinking of making a 6th edition, it's not going to be for a while.
Yeah, like, do you think there ever will be a 6th edition? Because they seem to have, like, a solid system with 5th out.
Well-
Yeah. The 2 most played editions are 3.5 and 5e, and
Does 4 suck?
it's not good. It's on a completely different system, and like barely anyone plays it. But if there are people out there that play it, like, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's not my preferred game.
Hmm.
The main difference between 3.5 and 5e, because I've been playing 3.5 for almost 6 years.
Yeah.
So I'm a little biased towards 3.5 over 5. But I'm totally not against playing 5. Our buddy Hunter wants to run this world for us in 5e, and I'm excited, but I'm not super knowledgeable in 5e,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be a little out of my element. But the difference between 3.5 and 5e is the different kind of experience you want to have.
Yeah.
So 3.5 is you are basically playing a character that's just a normal individual who's just trying their hand at adventuring and living in a fantasy world. In 5th edition, it's more in the style of you are
The
like a
chosen
hero.
one.
Like you are chosen and you're special
Yeah.
in some way.
Oh.
So 3.5 is a little more gritty, and 5e is a lot more,
Whimsical.
yeah. So
Interesting.
whatever you want your play style to be. 5e is also easier to pick up.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Like, when I was doing my research between the two, it seemed like 5e has a easier setup to it.
Yeah, it's easier to pick up, but it's a lot less customizable as 3.5.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, it's whatever kind of style you want to play is what you're gonna get.
You
between
can't really
those two.
say, like, one is superior to the other, though. Like, even
No,
though, like,
they're two different
decades
games.
apart, like, you
Yeah.
can't really say that. You got any, like, solid memories of the game you want to say? Like, about,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
favorite campaigns, fights?
Well, with 6 years of this game, dude,
You talk my ear off every time you get in the car about, like, all these different campaigns you've done and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You want to pick a winner, or you want to think about it for a second?
I could.
I
talk
got
for
one
hours.
if you want me to give one from our campaign. I was thinking of talking about the. You got it?
But it's going well.
Sorry,
I
we had
to
technical
move.
difficulties. I was thinking about talking about.
Like, whatever's easier for Jay, because it was. I saw Jay getting a little cramped.
I kind of. Do you want to talk about? Should I talk about the time we fought the giant or the ogre to get the key, or should I talk about the time where I got my masterwork banjo?
Oh man.
Both are funny.
You should talk about the ogre, because that was everyone.
Yeah. So
This was like our first fight.
yeah, basically we all met in a bar in like this town. I managed, being just a smooth-talking, handsome little man with a banjo, to get the barkeep to give me a quest that was meant for sanctioned adventurers. Basically, a really beautiful sword was taken from a convoy. Like, a bunch of goblins and an ogre destroyed it and took the sword with them. So we had to go out and stop that. On the way, we encountered 2 bears. And we
Two
were
little
like,
black bears.
2 black bears that
They
were just
weren't
sniffing.
little,
They were
they
just
were
sniffing
normal
around
size.
the cart, and like, hey, bears get scared off by bigger things. So I climb on top of the barbarian's back, and we just start yelling at him, and we scare one off, but the other one is not amused and just comes up and guts the barbarian. We almost died to the bears. That was like the second fight. The first one we fought trained assassins and won, and then we almost lost to a bear.
Well,
One bear.
I mean, bears are ferocious.
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty
all
funny.
about the roll of the die, man.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen.
Jackson's roommate Dylan, he was playing a ranger, and while
Dylan's
fighting
just
this
infamous
bear,
for doing this,
he gets the idea of let's climb up in a tree and shoot it from up there.
because you do get bonuses from the high ground.
You do, and he rolls to hit it, and he rolls a 1. So in D&D,
Oh, yeah, talk
whenever
about
you're
this.
doing anything, you roll a 20-sided die. And for a lot of situations, if you roll a 1, you fail spectacularly. But if you roll a 20, you instantly succeed in whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of situations, but not all
Like a
situations.
super win or a super fail, basically.
Yeah. So our buddy Dylan, he is notorious for rolling 1s. And like one of the first times he did it, he was up in this tree and he rolls this 1 and he just falls out of the tree, snaps his ankle. It was pretty epic.
Another time he tried to shoot someone with his bow and he rolled a crit fail, which is a 1, and he pulled his bow back and it snapped back into his face and he knocked himself out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to make this a hate Dylan train, but
I love that.
I mean, I love Dylan. Like Dylan adds some flavor to the overall mix.
You say he's
But-
great for the game because he just keeps things interesting with the amount of times he rolls 1s, right?
Yes.
As a DM, you very much enjoy that.
But I was trying to keep count, and I'm pretty sure he's rolled more once than us as a collective group roll crits.
That's what I'm saying.
it's
I-
an equal chance. It's an equal chance. Like, it's not like you have a higher chance
No,
of a 1 than a 20.
Mhm.
It's fair, but
He's gotta check his dice, man. They might be loaded on the 1.
Maybe.
after we fight the bears, we fight some goblins, and that we take out instantly. Like, we surprise the goblins. There were 5 of them. Like, all of them were down except 1. We just decided to grab that one time up and keep him as a pet, which is kind of immoral, but
Yeah,
now he's a bartender. We got him a job.
Some people would look at that as wrong, but
I mean, our monk was like, hey, we can't capture a troll for scientific purposes, but we can completely take a goblin out of its natural environment and
its
make it a
culture.
bartender.
yeah, I don't know. He has very weird.
Whatever. It's kind of on and off,
I don't know. It
But yeah,
depends.
after these goblins, we find the cave. And there are a few goblins outside, and we know that there's trouble inside. So we try to deal with the ones on the outside before we engage, but it goes poorly, and they notice us. So they alert everyone inside the cave, and a bunch of more goblins come out. One is on a wolf, right? Like a dire wolf or something?
A warg.
A warg, which is
If
like
you've
a
ever
scary
watched The
wolf.
Hobbit,
Yeah, those guys are...
I think
Rough.
the orcs.
Yeah, the orcs who ride those
yeah,
guys.
they ride the big black wolf
Mhm.
monsters. Those are
Mm.
wargs.
So we take those out and we hear like big thuds inside the cave, and then finally this ogre comes out and we notice he's got a key around his neck, and we're like, well, we're gonna need that. So I whip out my banjo, and as a bard, I can play certain pieces of music that do things either to help the team or stun or do something to the enemies. So I use my Fascinate song, and it succeeds, which means that the ogre just has to sit there in awe and watch me perform my song until I decide to stop. So I sing it the Rainbow Connection in Giant, its native tongue. And
On the banjo.
Yeah.
Of course.
the group tries to go in, find this thing, but they find the chest that it's locked in. So the barbarian's like, I'm going to try to cut this string off its neck, but he fails with that and ends up stabbing it. So it comes out of this trance, and then we almost die again to this ogre. I actually get a big javelin right through my leg, and I go down from that, but
Yeah, the barbarian got knocked out.
Yeah, he
like,
clubbed
slammed.
against the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, clubbed into the cave.
into the cave.
It
Oh, we
was-
actually did it. It was really.
you-
it was probably the first real win we
Yeah.
had. You know.
You also rolled quite a few ones,
Mhm.
apparently.
I did.
I didn't know if you did for real, but it was pretty epic.
I want to say it concluded by I rolled a 1.
And Ben got an attack of opportunity, right?
Yeah,
It might
and
have.
you like slashed its wrist and it like dropped the.
Yeah,
Well, no,
it did
dropped
drop
the
its club.
It was something weird because it was just like he had like something and like it tipped and I just threw his club away.
Yeah, I don't remember who finished it. I want to say it was Hunter.
I think
it
he
was
did
the
it.
monk.
I think he punched it out.
Yeah, I
And
think it was
he
Hunter.
he like ran up and like hopped off of its knee because it was down on its knees. And
Yeah.
then jumped off its knee and then like kicked it right in the chin and just
Yeah.
ended it.
It's a collective effort.
It's really fun. And do keep in mind that this is not like a video game. Like we're all sitting around a table with like
We
paper
just-
and pencils and dice. And I'm just describing everything that's happening.
Yeah, we just sit there and enjoy the experience. Like we contribute with our stuff, but it's mostly the DM or Jay in this case, just like you punch him when then this happens and then but then you hear this. Like I can't do it, but you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty
it's hard
epic.
to summarize.
I
Like
mean-
let me give you an example. Sorry, Ben.
That's fine.
Like we'll say Ben runs up to the ogre and I go, all right, Ben, you want to attack it? He goes,
Always.
yeah, I'll attack it. And I say, all right, roll your die, and he rolls the die. He adds the bonuses he has from being his character, and we'll say he gets like an 18, and this ogre has like a 16 armor.
That's like the threshold you have to beat to hit it.
So he beats the armor, and I'm like, all right, good job. You can roll damage now. And he has a magic sword, and he swings, and he does like 6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So once all that concludes, then I begin to describe what happens. I say, all right, Loomis, the guard, charges the ogre and swings his sword, leaving a deep gash in the ogre's left bicep, and it reels back in pain, leaning forward, ready to strike.
Yeah, it's really cool when it's like happening one after another. Like the monk goes, punches it, the ranger shoots it. I sit there and throw my rock at it. But, you know, it's real neat. Did you have one you wanted to tell Ben?
Well, I was gonna more or less say like depending on how you're depending on your DM, they might be more willing to let you, like you could talk to them about certain stats, how certain things would work, how you might want to alter certain things.
You can change anything you want about the game. No one's gonna come down and like smite you
No.
for changing something.
As long as you like obviously
long as
run it
everyone's
by
in
your
agreement.
DM and everyone is fine with it.
Yeah.
Like even story details, because we didn't really have story details at the beginning, but like when we started writing more backstories, we kind of ran it by you to see like
Yeah.
how we could interweave this somehow and how this would work and what would even be better for this.
Yeah.
And it overall led to a better experience probably for our campaign.
The thing that is really neat is our buddy Mike was just messing around trying to make his own little tabletop games, and he was trying his best, but making your own tabletop game is really hard.
Yeah.
Just making up all the rules.
So many systems and stuff you have to figure out. But
Yeah, like these 3 core books that you have for D&D, they're like at least 300 pages each.
yeah.
So
If
it's
you want them all on Amazon, it's like $60.
Yeah. But yeah, it's wild. What was I talking about?
I wasn't confident.
Mike was trying to make his own game, and
Oh, yes.
And it's a difficult process.
But the thing that's wild is, we were all playing Mike's things, and
wasn't working out.
yeah, and I was like, all right, well, let me just throw out this little thing, and we'll see if you guys like it. And it was intended to just be like a one-night
one-off test
kind of
run.
thing. Like, oh yeah, you guys go out and you fight this ogre, and it was awesome. Good job. And you get back the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone was like, let's play again. I was like, okay, well, we can play again. And they delivered the sword, and they got the gold, and they took another quest, and they rolled out. And they, like, went to the bar, had a great time, started, like, fighting thieves and such. And I was like, all right, well, that was fun. And then they just kept coming back, and they were like, hey, let's keep playing. And I was like, whoa,
yeah,
cool.
it was really cool. It's
Yeah.
become like we've played all throughout the second semester, I think, right?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, we stopped last week because, it's coming down to the wire, and we had a really good stopping point. It's kind of like season 1 of this campaign, I've been calling it.
Yeah. Depending on how long Hunter's takes, that'll probably be a semester, and we'll probably take up yours.
Mm-hmm.
The one
Yeah, that'd
after,
be fun.
maybe. Depending on how this goes.
We'll see what happens, but we've like, in depth, like, explored all of these characters, and all of them have, like, these interesting, like, aspects of them and these arcs and backstories that, like, go way deeper than
Yeah.
we, like, originally intended.
I mean, even if we don't go back to it, I wouldn't be, like, so, like, upset, because I feel like we did explore a lot of what you had to offer right now, and maybe we could do something better.
Let me tell you, D&D is a very, very interesting game, because even though all we are is just sitting around describing things, there have been moments where our buddy Hunter has leaned over, placed his hand on Jackson's chest, and it's literally beating out of his chest.
Well, that just happens regularly.
You forget, he has the body of a chipmunk. The heart will explode.
Like there,
But yeah,
there
that does,
was a
like, there
time-
have been, like, extreme moments of, like,
this
like, it
one
does
time,
make you feel a lot.
Yeah, it gets really intense, even though it like you don't actually see anything.
And you don't know any of these people. They're all just, like, fake.
Yeah, like it's all just imaginary, but it feels so real. It's bizarre. And there was a time where I actually, it was getting really intense, and I lifted up my hands and I showed the party, and they were shaking.
Yeah.
Me as the DM, my hands were
And
shaking.
he's the one who knows everything and is like,
I was so into it, and the party was like in so much danger.
yeah.
It was, pumping me full of adrenaline.
And when characters die, that's rough. Like, we had our one guy die, and it was really sad for a while.
Well, Jackson took this level of sadness way further than I've seen
Yeah.
most human. Like, I feel like he was more sad for this than most human beings. For this fictional
I
character.
took a vow of silence.
You like were a mute for like 2 days.
Just the one day, actually.
Well,
It was crazy.
yeah, it was a little weird.
Takes the game very seriously.
Mhm.
So the thing about character death, I do know that there is another D&D party on campus, and shout out to a fellow DM, Emmett Wickersham, I believe his name is, and they are theater kids who all play musical theater majors, and he does a thing where if your character dies, you have to burn your character sheet.
I'd be so upset.
And I, playing for 6 years, I just don't agree with that. It's
Yeah, screw you, Emmett.
not.
we're
Like,
just
he's
mess-
really cool. He's really cool.
But yeah, you can deal with these deaths in several ways. You can have, like, the plot armor where, like, they go down and you can rescue them afterwards, or you could just like have them die like we do, or you can do like the permadeath like route. We were in our most recent battle, we had our monk go down, but we were able to resurrect him by going to the capital and paying a lofty fee. But yeah, it's different with every DM, so it depends on like how safe you want to play it, or like what the experience you're trying to craft is. If it's more of like a character focused thing or a story focused thing, then you can have death be permanent or not. But yeah, I could see why the burning of a character sheet would be an option. I'd be personally
Well,
not okay
Devastated,
after
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, what?
I mean, I look at this and I'm like, well, I mean, I know at the end of the day, it's still a game. I feel like, why don't you want to cherish the memories?
This
that
is
you
by
had?
far the
That's-
most immersive game I've played. Like,
Yeah.
period. Out of all the games on the Wii, Xbox,
The
and
Wii.
computer. Like, I've played a lot of like very story-driven games, but this one is the one that like, cause it's you who is the character. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm an Australian halfling with a banjo, but that's me. And like, I do stuff that I would do as my character, and like Ben is a Ben, just as a 17-year-old guard from Thorthal, but it really feels like you're meeting these people and like
Yeah.
experiencing this.
Yeah, and like when you die, you don't want to lose that piece of you.
Yeah.
Like I've been playing for 6 years, and I have a folder dedicated to all the characters I've played, and there's like 30 or so, and I've only played a character for like half of those years. So that's like 10 characters a year, Or
Yeah.
maybe not. I probably don't have that many. But I have a lot. And, I like every once in a while looking back in that folder and being like, oh, man, I remember the awesome adventures I had with this character. And, oh, man, look at this guy. Oh, I remember me and my best buddy went back and fought off like 20 gods with this guy. And if you have someone burn your character sheet, it's like you don't get to look back on those awesome moments.
I still
that you
have
had
Mike's
with your
character sheet. He left his on the floor. I'm like, oh, I'm taking this.
I know, that was crazy.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because Mike likes to play, but I feel like Mike likes to create more than he likes to play.
Yeah. To wrap up what I was saying about the like burning the character sheet, I just think it's a little bizarre. Like, imagine if like a family member or a loved one dies. Like, you don't just burn up all their pictures. Like, you remember them.
Well, I was gonna say, Jay, sometimes you do burn them.
Like, Jesus.
Like the person.
You don't burn their pictures.
I mean, I don't know. Like, sometimes you spend like 60 hours with these characters and they might die, and you're like, well, I feel like it's kind of it's hard to say it's a waste, but it kind of is a waste if you're just gonna get rid of it all afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm posting my picture of McDundee that I had commissioned.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, beautiful picture.
Our neighbor Wyatt, he's an excellent artist, and I paid him to make a sketch of my guy, so I'm posting that right now to our Instagram, The Nerd is the Word Show on Instagram.
Also, not to mention, he is the same artist who also did our Nerd is the Word.
Oh yeah,
poster.
he did do ours.
So
I'll tag him again.
Just plug him in. If he sells commissions open, if you want to get something done by him.
I mean, who's not looking to make money?
Well, just ask him. He'll probably draw something up for you. He's pretty flexible.
Yeah.
I'd say if you're listening to this show and you've never played D&D before,
definitely try it.
Yes, please try D&D. It's the most immersive and amazing and inclusive game I've ever played in my entire life.
Look for someone who knows the game, though. Like, find a good DM who understands the game and can help you. Because, like I said, I've tried several times to get into this game because I've wanted to. Like, the first guy was like, yeah, I'll hook you up. And he was very, like, not into it. And he, like, helped me make a character. And then we played the game. He was like, okay, what do you guys want to do? I'm like, can I get a quest? And he was like, sure. I was like, oh, okay. And the second time, same thing. Like, third time was like, we tried to do it all online, which was it works, but it's hard to do without any experience and not knowing the game, especially because we didn't have the books. So my one friend was like just looking up the rules as they were being told. So if you have a friend who is into the game and can dungeon master for you, definitely work that out with them. If you want to try it yourself, then you could either buy the books or use the PDFs that are online and just look up the rules. If you want to, there are plenty of shows that of people playing D&D. Like the one I watched, Critical Role, with a bunch of voice actors like Matt Mercer and Travis Willingham and a bunch of other people. There's like thousands of just people playing the game. If you can't play the game yourself, watch it and just see the magic happen. Because it is really unlike anything else I've played.
I'll be honest, I've never actually watched an episode of Critical Role.
You just have this jealousy with Matt Mercer, though.
No, I'm not jealous.
Matt Mercer would let me do it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I always get a little scared DMing for people who watch Critical Role because Matt Mercer is a phenomenal dungeon master.
Yeah, he's really good.
And it's always...
I'd say you're on par, honestly, because
really?
I haven't noticed him do anything out of the ordinary that you have never done. He gets really into the characters just like you do. He's got this great storytelling and the battle details and stuff. Well,
thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, he's, like I said, they're voice actors. He's McCree in Overwatch. He's a bunch of people in a bunch of animes. He's been all over.
From League of Legends.
Yeah, he's McCready from Fallout 4.
Really?
Yeah.
They've all a ton of.
The one guy's Knuckles.
The one guy's Knuckles. One of the dudes is Yasuo from League of Legends.
Definitely check it out if you can. If not, find another one that looks cool. But yes, play this game for sure. And if you know me, I'll try to learn. If you don't know these other guys, I'll do my best.
But also, when we say get a J, Don't take our J.
Yeah,
take
he's
someone
been-
else's
he's
J.
He's ours.
This Jay's in the nest already. He's flying south of him. Can't have him.
We can't be too careful, Jay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You want to mention anything else about D&D specifically?
Just the like how D&D or what D&D has become in the years. When I was really little, my mother always told me that my dad used to go and play D&D.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, it's awful. They sit around a table and scream at each other while rolling dice." And
You know,
I'm like, "That
Guy
sounds
Gax's
awful."
wife thought he was cheating on her because he'd always go away, and she followed him one day, and he was like in the basement, just like huddled over like a bunch of books, like writing the game. Like he was making the game. She thought he was cheating on her because he was gone so often making this game. But yeah, it seems like such a stupid thing. People yelling at each other at a table, but
Yeah,
it's
like,
really something.
back in the day, this game used to be considered the like nerdiest thing you could do,
And
on
also
this
devil
planet.
worship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of the time, people would not allow their kids to play this
Yeah.
game, or it would be like banned in some places because they thought it was like devil worship, and it's really not.
Unless you're a warlock.
Well,
I mean,
let's not get into that.
well, I mean, it's from an outsider's perspective looking
Yes.
in and
Yes.
not understanding.
It's if you think it's like devil worship, you're very
stupid.
paranoid. You're extremely paranoid.
You're not just wrong, you're
stupid.
stupid.
Well, we also have to remember. I mean, I feel like more people are open to it, especially since how big Harry Potter's gotten.
Yes,
and
Yeah,
how-
exactly.
It's
I think
definitely in
that's
this pop
helped.
culture revolution.
Yeah,
that
it's
we're in.
like the people who say that D&D is devil worship are the people that don't like Percy Jackson, the people who don't like Harry Potter.
the people that don't vaccinate their kids.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I do want to highlight though we talked about the heat of battle and how that can catch you up, but like outside of battle can lead to a lot of moments too. Like we catch ourselves so often like
Jackson had his
these-
first kiss.
I did in game. I actually did. That happened. I'm not going to talk about it though.
His mother's on the.
We also
His mother's
had
on the line.
Ben and I also just found ourselves in like a very deep heart-to-heart moment about like why we're on these adventures.
Oh, yeah.
And like that was all improv. Like I didn't have anything. I was like, yeah,
You just become your character.
yeah. It was
It's crazy.
fascinating. And like my favorite though is like I said, I'm a bard and I perform. And there's a stat called perform, and when you roll to play your instrument, you add whatever modifier it is next to. So if you want to roll about to see if you know something, you roll and then add your knowledge modifier, or you roll and add your climb or whatever. But my perform as a bard has to be high because I play instruments. So between my charisma, which is my people stats, and my halflingness and just practice, right now it's at a plus 14. Keep in mind
Which is
that
crazy.
standard roll is anywhere between a 1 and a 20. So if I roll anything above a 6, it's automatically above incredible. And I've rolled high enough before to the point where angels will come down from the skies to play their trumpet next to me, or demons from extra planes will come in and watch me play. And people throw so much money in my hat, I can't pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, it's so amazing when that kind of stuff happens.
Like, imagine Eric Clapton and John Mayer, like, having a
banjo
like a
baby.
duo, like, guitar sesh, like, in front of thousands of people, and then his banjo playing is better than that. Like, it's unfathomable.
The best part was like the most recent one where we revived our monk, and to celebrate, I played Backstreet's Back on my banjo, and we all rolled so high. Like they don't even have perform stats, but they rolled the dance, and they rolled so well. And it got to the point where people from the streets were running into the church we were in to perform with us. Angels were coming, and the Pope joined in, and he got like a 22 on his dance. So he's like break dancing on the floor. It was so funny.
D&D can be so fun sometimes.
It's ridiculous.
It can be so silly, and you're just dying laughing sometimes, and then other times
Peter
you're like
Purple.
literally about to cry because you're so sad or like so
Yes.
scared.
Such an emotional roller coaster.
Very emotional.
Yes.
Ben has developed his own deity in the game. Actually.
I've developed a lot of things with my character. Right now, I have a base stat of 22 on my AC, which is really like
That means
insane.
like a
It's a
monster
walking
has
tank.
to roll over. They have to roll higher than their dice,
No.
basically. They have to roll a
Yes.
good number with their dice, and then their modifier has to be higher to get above a 22.
And
to hit him.
damage
To hit him.
we also have to understand that I also have a dodge target, which could add another AC depending on the monster.
And we have
And,
spells that can increase your AC even more.
So like, there was a point
So it's
where
just a blur.
I had like 27 and 28 AC, where literally
and you're wearing heavy armor
Yeah.
too. It's not like you're just some fast
Yeah.
guy. Like you are
No.
this big tank.
no, literally Jay has to crit roll against me to hit me.
Yeah,
And it's
like we said, a
amazing.
20 is an automatic win, and that's like a 1 in 20 chance. Actually,
I'll just
5%.
one of these days I'll just run you through a dungeon and then I'll have the floor collapse and it'll just be like a vat of water and you'll sink. And you won't be able to swim up.
Why are you so
dude, I have
mean?
spells to help with that.
I was-
I could use my song to make his swim stat better. I can use feather
How's he
fall
gonna hear
on.
you through the water?
I have
He's
actually
in range. He doesn't have to.
my fighter
Versus.
already has a really
Foiled
good,
again.
has
His
a really
swim
good
is also
stat.
very good.
Yeah,
And he's got a fishing pole.
yeah. I have a
I'm sure
fishing
the
rod.
fishing pole fish out, and I could.
Yeah,
See, guys, they know me. They
We
can
got him
think
unlocked,
around me.
dude.
I think.
I just thought about the dungeon we were in. We were at a fork in the road in a dungeon in this cave, and we go left, and there's this wooden door, and we try to listen on the other side, and we just kind of hear the like wind blowing through, and it was locked, right? No, it wasn't locked. We didn't even check the doorknob.
No, we
wasn't
did it.
locked.
Did not check the doorknob.
No.
And I was like,
It was
okay.
like rotted in wood.
It sounds like there's either a big hole outside because wind is getting through, or a deep pit. So, and then before I said anything, our barbarian decided to kick down the door, and he rolled so poorly that his foot got stuck. He kicked through the door, and his foot was stuck in it. And then our druid, our stupid druid,
Well,
It's
opened
Wyatt.
he opened the door while his foot was in it. And sure enough, it was a cliff with spikes at the bottom. So he swung the door open, and our barbarian, still hanging by his foot, was just in the door above the cliff, basically. And that was
Hanging upside down.
Granted, it was not outside any of their characters.
it was all in character. And
It's-
the druid's a drunk bird.
Well, apparently Wyatt thought the door opened like inwards, not outwards.
I'm gonna open the door. No.
And then
So
he
yeah,
was
he's
like,
hanging over the pit.
floating out.
It was very funny.
uh,
and like the entire time, like our buddy Mike was just hanging upside down, screaming, and Jackson the Bard was like, "What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you actually doing?"
And I'm just like, people are gonna die. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, we could have very well
kinda just like
lost
sat
right
in the
there.
back like, "Y'all are stupid."
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to spiders. It's
that was
funny.
terrible.
As McDundee, I know a few languages that are just stupid. Like I know Common, which is basically the common language, obviously.
Everyone
the
knows
one
that.
that everyone knows.
It's like our English.
kind of English.
Mhm.
And then Halfling, which is exclusive to people who are Halflings or people who know the language.
There's a language for every
There's a-
race. Like
I
dwarf,
also know
elf, orc.
Giant, which is funny because I'm short. And Undercommon, which is kind of like monster tongue or black market deals, and it sounds really shadowy and scary. So the party didn't know I had that, and we walk into this dark room full of spiders, and a monk was like, "Hey, I wonder if they speak," and he shouted out in common, but they didn't respond. And Jay was like, what language are you speaking? And I was like, oh. So
See, they straight up metagamed, and metagaming is where you get information that your characters wouldn't know, but you apply to the game. So I say, did you just say it in common? And before that, the bard was like, that's a stupid idea. They
because
would
spiders
never,
don't
they
talk.
wouldn't
You
talk.
made that a rule that spiders can talk.
They wouldn't talk. And then I said, did you just say it in common? And then he goes, oh, I say in undercommon.
Well,
You never said I
couldn't.
couldn't say it in undercommon. You would have said
Whatever, man.
we could have easily worked around, but I just started speaking the shadow speak. I was just like just speaking to spiders.
Oh no.
It was a very uncomfortable moment for everyone else, but it was really funny because I met a spider and I called him Steve.
It was not funny.
Yeah.
It didn't end up.
He ended up
being
betraying us because Steve's a jerk. But
This like big spider was like talking to him, and there was like a bunch of tiny spiders around him, and he was like, "What's your name?" And the spider was like, "There's not a name for me in your common tongue." And he's like, "All right, I'll just
Right, I'll
call
call
you
you
Steve."
Steve.
Well, doesn't I forgot? Was it that Hunter's character hates spider, or does Hunter in general hate spiders?
I think Hunter himself doesn't.
Because he was a little edgy when anytime
edgy.
when we talked to those spiders,
Yeah.
he was on edge. Oh yeah, there's also the deity that I made up.
the deity,
The deity,
Peter Purple.
Peter Purple.
Gods exist in
Yeah,
D&D, like,
along with Peter
and they
Purple.
do a lot of divine intervention and exist with mortals, and there are several of them, and they all like do different things. Like there's the bard god, there's like the god of justice and valor, there's the god of travel, all this stuff. But like Ben decided to make his own.
I just thought it would
I
be
worship
funny.
Steve Irwin as an Australian.
I just thought it would be really funny if I just prayed to one god that no one knew about, but through our travels, I spread the word around, and everyone starts praying to Peter Purple.
I think you didn't like have one specifically chosen, and
No.
then somehow, like just in the middle of conversation, it was like, didn't you have like a weird, awkward uncle that would like hang out,
No.
but like not?
Yeah,
talk
I
to
had this theory
anyone?
that it was just this weird, like it was Ben's really crappy uncle that he just liked because he was a kid.
Yeah, Peter Purple.
Oh yeah, because our barbarian went down, and he's like, "Did he see a god?"
Did you see?
Did you see my uncle?
Well, I said,
And
did
he
you see
said-
Peter?
As in like
Because-
Saint Peter. And
like
we're
Saint Peter.
Peter who? It was like Peter Purple.
Well, no, it was something was purple. And how did we get Peter Purple?
I have
It
no
was so
clue.
great.
It's lost to time.
Because I remember I was just like, yeah, Peter Purple.
just been
Everyone
the running
died
joke.
for a solid 8 minutes.
We'll never know the
Ugh.
true origin, but Peter Purple will live on in our hearts.
Oh, yes. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we sign off?
I just gotta say again one more time, if you've never played D&D,
Mhm.
please, please, please give it a shot. It's the best game I've ever played in my life, and I don't think I'm gonna stop playing it until I die and I'm old.
Yeah, agreed. Honestly, one of the better things. Like it's a shame that I haven't actually gotten into it sooner. I'm kicking myself for it.
I mean, like, right now, I have so many ideas for the next character that
Yeah,
Jay has no
we've
clue
been
about.
frequently we've been busy bees getting our next like campaign ready. Like I've been talking Hunter's ear off with all these ideas I
Yeah.
have, and
He and Jackson are trying to combine a few things,
Mhm.
trying to make something that's pretty funny.
yeah, we got we got some good stuff going. It's pretty great.
It'll be fun.
You will
We'll keep
enjoy
you posted on that next campaign if we do another episode
Yeah,
of D&D. Maybe
part-
just telling our stories.
D&D Part 2.
That could be fun. But yeah, you got anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Nothing much. And prepare for Endgame next time, guys.
Next episode will definitely be Endgame.
I don't... We might go into spoilers for the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like-
and assume that the latter of the episode will be spoilers.
So, it's just that...
But-
because-
We will specify next week. We will say we are going to talk about spoilers later, or we will not be talking about spoilers during this episode.
yeah.
We'll figure it out then, but just assume that the last half hour will be spoilers, just in case.
'cause I just-
we don't know if we're going to talk about it, because that's a big thing.
It's a big thing because talking about what comes after this point is a big
Because a lot of it's
discussion
going to be
point as
theoretical.
well.
And according to rumors, like the trailers have only shown the first 15 minutes
yes.
of the movie.
And it's insane to me.
So we'll find out. But yeah, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next
yes.
week on that one. This is Ben signing off.
I'm Jackson DiCarlo.
And
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
thanks for joining us, Jay. Appreciate it.
yeah, we might have you on a guest host next time if you're a good boy.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're a good boy. You wanna hook me up with a cloak of charisma? You can come back on again.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to Nerds the Word, folks. We'll see you next week, and have a good one.
Bye.